This clip I'm about to show you is Arma Reforger in a nutshell. There's no way. I'm the only one alive. For all those who play Arma Reforger, please tell me how many times that's happened to you right off of spawn. But anyways, welcome back. The video today is we're going to be talking about why Arma Reforger is so freaking good and why it's so much fun. It's addicting to play. It's something, to me personally, it's like another breath of fresh air game to, compared to your typical Call of Duty or Overwatch, Battlefield, Apex, Fortnite, something a little bit different to play. And the main reason why this game has been actually blowing up recently is because not long ago, it released on PS5 and it's been blowing up more and more because of that, which is absolutely fantastic because I didn't even know Bohemia Interactive made this game. And I've always been looking into the Arma series personally, but game's always been kind of intimidating a bit, just to me personally, because it is milsim. Some people do take it a little bit more seriously, and there's a lot more in-depth gameplay that goes along with it. And today I just kind of want to go over what is the game. What is Arma Reforger? What's it about? Is there story? Is it just multiplayer? Well, it is just multiplayer. But what is the game about essentially, and why it's addicting? And I kind of want to go over some of those reasons that I personally find on why it's so good. So first off, I want to go over what the main mode is. The main mode is called Conflict. And what is Conflict? So I'll have it up on screen here. It's essentially, there's this huge map that's going to be on the screen here. And the main objective is you'll see all these different map points that are highlighted in purple with their name. And along with it is you want to capture those points, and depending on which server you're on, it's usually the first of 5 or 6 capture points, if I remember correctly. Each server has a different capture point on it, but you want to capture all those, and then you want to hold them for at least 5 minutes for your team to win. So think of it as like a more hardcore, complicated Battlefield conquest game mode if you guys play Battlefield. There are 2 teams that you can play as, essentially when you are playing the base game. There is the US against the Russians. And how every fresh round starts if you can manage to get into it. So essentially, once you spawn in at your main headquarters base, and you want to go around to all these little points around the map where there's usually AI enemies that you have to go ahead and kill off and try to capture. And then so far from there, you go ahead and you build up those bases as kind of like checkpoints, so you can deliver supplies back and forth from main base to smaller bases, so on and so forth, and build up other locations. And the main thing is, supplies in this game is the currency, essentially, the bloodline of it. Because without supplies, you can't spawn, you can't get vehicles, you can't upgrade your weapons or, use different weapons in your arsenal. And also to upgrade your little bases, so putting out sandbags, putting helipads, like I was saying, spawning in vehicles. One of the more important ones are helicopters. Helicopters are very vital when it comes to transporting your troops from point A to point B, because these maps are extremely massive. If you're running on foot, it will literally take you a very, very long time to get to one point to another in this game. It is insanely long depending on how your playstyle is. Personally, I don't mind it because I like having that little bit of a slower pace combat, and it's nice just to kind of absorb everything in. But I'll talk more about that later because this game's immersive as hell. But to continue on, it's essentially you all have to work together to try to capture all these points, and that's how you win the game. But the crazy thing is, though, this game is a non-stop battle of tug of war. Some of these servers will legitimately last for days. Like, I'm not kidding. It will literally last for days on end until somebody wins or the server refreshes itself. However, that does entirely rely on your team, though, because sometimes a battle can only last for a few hours for a game. I've had that happen to me once, and then vice versa. The game will last for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours just in a single PlayStation, which is really awesome because how the game is designed with its gameplay loop, it does actually work out very well with it. For granted, it is a constant, uphill battle, always trying to fight, trying to get like the nitty gritty stuff, trying to progress your team, progress yourselves. And the more you're supporting your team, the more you'll actually level up in game. And you're probably asking, what do you mean by leveling up? So in the game, while you are doing certain tasks, whether killing enemies, transporting teammates, supply runs, doing a lot of different actions that benefits your team. You have ranks, so everybody starts off as private at the beginning of a game, and you could go as high as lieutenant. I haven't gone that far. That's what I'm pretty sure is the highest rank, but lieutenant is the one where you want to be, or where you can basically build everything on your base, especially helicopters or the helipad, which is, like I was saying earlier, one of the more important things, especially when it comes to supply runs and transporting your troops or giving support to your troops. And one thing I don't know if you guys noticed that I've been continuously talking about throughout this video is teamwork is a really big thing in this game, and that's how you win games essentially. Especially when you always see me notice, or what I'm saying, like capturing bases, transporting people. Transporting people is one of the biggest things, because you being able to get your teammates from point A to point B to capture different objectives, all you guys working together in a really good tactical manner. It is very, very necessary for the game as a whole, so you guys can win. And personally, to me, this is probably one of the most heavily teamwork oriented games I've ever played, but it makes sense though, because it's realistic as hell with it, and you all have to have your backs, because you die in literally one shot, or potentially one shot. Your character can get knocked out and you'll be out of the fight for a little bit until he gets back up while you're bleeding still. So your team has to help try to revive you essentially if they can, if the firefight's done, or maybe drag you out of cover or behind cover or anything like that. So this game gets very intense very quickly. It goes from 0 to 100 like it's nobody's business. But just like in real war though too, that's what this game is experiencing. It is a milsim for a reason. This game just still impresses me with how far it goes, how realistic, and just how fun it is as a whole, because it's something different than what we're usually used to, and especially this is the first thing that we've really had on console to this kind of extent. The only other game I really know that is more of like a realistic shooter like this is Hell Let Loose, and that is a World War II version of it. But to continue on, the next big thing I really want to talk about, a little bit of a smaller segment here, but I want to talk about is how immersive this game is. I have never played anything to where I'm just sucked into it. I can be stuck in a lobby for hours on end. I wish I'd recorded this clip, but these guys were talking, and we're all talking inside the game chat. And these guys were talking about they're playing in a game that had lasted at least 19 hours, and some of them played, off and on between that whole 19 hours. And it blows my mind on how deep this game goes and how addictive it is. I know I keep saying that, but I've never sunk my teeth into a game for like this long, like super long periods of times, honestly, since from like Call of Duty Black Ops 2 when I was in high school. Like for me personally nowadays, it's really hard for games to gather my attention like that unless if it's a single player game. Multiplayer games, just because I'm kind of tired of the repetitiveness with a lot of things now, but this game puts you on edge the whole time because you don't know where people are, you don't know anything. You'll hear gunshots in the distance, and it's just the sound, like how the sound is, how the environment is. It's crazy how phenomenal everything is sound. And let me play a clip of let me just play this clip so you guys can really see the immersion. I'm not shooting or anything. The game was raining, and I gotta show you this clip just so you can hear the noises on what's going on. So what did you guys think? It's crazy on how immersed it is, and especially whenever I stream this. By the way, follow me on Twitch and TikTok. That's where I usually will stream. But my viewers will tell me, I'll be starting to chat with them, and then all of a sudden I'll hear from them. But at least on TikTok, I can still see. I'm like, hey, you all good, man? And they're like, dude, I'm just so immersed just watching your gameplay. Like, I've never seen a game to where I feel like I'm in it. And that's how you feel while playing it. It feels crazy, like realistic as a whole, especially when it comes to movement, the gunplay, the sounds, the audio. It's just everything blends in so freaking well. I know I'm sorry to kind of being a broken record with a lot of this, but I just can't get the word out better, honestly, with it. It's great. It's a fantastic experience for a game. definitely a little bit more intimidating than your typical Call of Duty, Apex, Fortnite. Like, this is probably the most intimidating game I have personally probably played, because milsims are definitely a different kind of breed or a different kind of gamer to play that game. But for a multiplayer game, I don't think I've ever played anything just as immersive as this. Now, one of the really cool things about this game is the only reason why this game honestly really exists is for Arma 4. It's a test engine, or it's a test game to test out their new engine that they made. So they're basically going to try to stretch the limits. Devs are still supporting it. They allow modding, which is really cool. So there's all sorts of modded servers. One of my favorite ones is WSC, which is probably the most popular one. 128 players, 64 versus 64. Queue times are always insane on those kind of servers. They're always 50 plus whenever I try to join up. And it legitimately takes me 30 to 60 minutes just to join the lobby. And that's just how good those modded servers are. Base game's still pretty cool, but those modded servers give pretty good like quality life changes. One of the biggest ones is being able to see your character where you are on the map. Base game, you cannot do that. You can see squad leaders throughout the map, but that's it. That's in the base game. In this one, it's fantastic to be able to see whoever's close to you, and it's great that this game is cross-platform. Like I was mentioning earlier, how this game is on Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PC, and PlayStation 5. It's amazing to be able to grow such a community so everybody can get together on it, and that's why this game's been blowing up so much, because like I was saying earlier, it's a pretty unique experience for a console game. Console games usually do not have games like these because it is very difficult to run because how much the map has to render. But thank goodness for modern technology, so we can have that now. But then also it's just going to help the developers, you know, to be able to make their next game the best it possibly can be. And one thing I do want to iterate on this that I find very, very nicely with this game is there's no microtransactions, which is something that really brings a bit more life to it and makes me really happy with that, just because you don't have to worry about cosmetics or anything like that. Like, there's some servers where you could definitely change them up, and in game you can kind of change up your cosmetics a little bit, but they keep it grounded though. They keep it more realistic to whether it's gonna hide you better, or you can kind of turn your character into a badass looking like whatever you like out of it. But I do believe that's all I really want to talk about this game for now. I'm going to be still playing it a nice chunk because this game has so much stuff to it. All the different modded servers, especially for PC and Xbox, and then soon PlayStation. And the game just feels good overall, and it's a nice change of pace as a whole to play something else different. And I'm happy about it. It's making me feel good. The game's fun. It's addicting, especially with all the interactions you get with people, because just about everybody in this game talks, and that is fantastic because gaming nowadays sucks for talking with each other because everybody's too scared to get banned, which is very unfortunate, and it does happen a lot. Talk about you, Call of Duty. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you guys got all the way to the end of this, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave me some feedback down in the comments. I hope you guys leave a like, subscribe for some more content. And I'm going to be making more videos like this as a whole. Going to try to get them out at least my best on a weekly basis, but I'm having fun with it. And actually doing this and learning more about editing and content creation and stuff, while with all the research and stuff I've been doing, it's been a lot of fun. And I want to make this a really great journey and just try to make this successful and give back to community in the future is my main goal. But once again, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.